Hey, what if I told you that being the underdog, the smaller guy in a competitive territory, you're running a concrete coating business, home improvement business, you're wondering, hey, this private equity money is coming into town, the bigger boys are expanding territory, and what am I going to do? What if I told you that being the underdog has some incredible advantages that you can leverage and use to not only grow your business, but scale faster? Well, welcome to this episode. That's exactly what we're going to talk about here today. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Contractor Click podcast here. I am your host, Danny Barrera, with my amazing queen and partner here, Contractor Click owner, Maddie.
Yes. Hi, how are you? I'm excited to be here. Great day.
What's going on? Awesome. What
I'm
are we talking
excited about
today?
this topic. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is such a good topic. So today we're going to talk about the Underdog Advantage and how concrete coatings and home improvement businesses can outperform these like big PE giants and bigger companies that are coming into their territories and like buying out other coating companies and home improvement companies. It's very exciting. I'm
Yeah.
excited about this topic.
Well, the whole thing is blue collar is now the white collar. You know, you have a lot of private equity interest, money that's ready to be put to work, and what we're noticing in the trades, specifically home improvement, home service, there's just a lot of money flowing in, and there are some key specific reasons why. And we're not here to talk about private equity today, but we're here to talk about the advantages of you running a small business, quote unquote, small business, and how can you can shift your mindset and align yourself so that you're in the positive side, in the upside of what may be coming into your territory. We've been getting calls from clients, from prospective clients here at Contractor Click, and they're saying, well, oh my gosh, there's this new giant coming into town, and hey, we don't know what they're doing. What should we be doing in order to advertise? Like, what should we be preparing for in this season? And I get excited about that because, number one, I've been an underdog for a very long time, and I love when we're in the game, in the competition. Man, this is what I was born for, to compete, to have a fair game and a fair fight, but to really understand the game at a deeper level and empower our clients to not be scared or look at this as something negative. It's actually something positive. The fact that there is money flowing into your territory, it's a really good sign that territory has an incredible opportunity. And, you know, it's like Starbucks. You drink Starbucks, Christian? No? What do you go? Where do you go and get your drinks these days?
I go to any coffee shop usually that isn't Starbucks.
So you support the small business.
Yeah.
He goes
Okay,
to the
well,
local. There
the
you
thing
go.
about McDonald's or Starbucks, they make their due diligence and research, and the fact that they've done that research for you, it only validates that there's an incredible opportunity to be tapped in your territory. That's number one. So I get excited about this, Maddie. It only validates.
Yeah.
You have any questions? Where do you want to start here?
No, I think that's that point you just made about Starbucks is so good. Like, yeah, Starbucks is a big, like, I go to Starbucks, but I also go to the local coffee shop. Like, people are still going to the local coffee shop, and people are still supporting the local coffee shop, and the local coffee shop is still making a lot of money, even though it's not Starbucks. So there's in these areas where they have like this giant opportunity, like, it's okay. You're gonna have opportunity too. So that's interesting. I want to talk about that fear factor, Danny.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that fear factor. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. They're coming in my territory. What do I do? Oh my
Well,
god.
fear is uncertainty. And that is, like, as a leader, if you are uncertain, that means that you're lacking business skill. And might be the mindset too. Might be the mindset. Like, your mindset might not be aligned. And by the way, if you are looking for mind growth, it's instead of mindset. Let's think about mind growth, the expansion of thinking bigger than you currently have been able to see up to now. There is a great episode with one of our mentors, Mike Aguilaro. Make sure you check it out in the Contractor Click podcast on YouTube, Spotify, etc. Great podcast on mind growth, because it all starts there. It's if you cannot see the possibility of what's out there for you in your territory, oftentimes it's the mind growth. You've capped a specific set of skills that maybe you were brought up into, or maybe that's as far as you could possibly see, or maybe you've been in business for some time and you're spinning your wheels, and now that becomes a fear factor because that's all you think it's possible for you. The second thing is, after the mindset, is the skill set. Are you skilled to be able to navigate competitive landscapes? The beautiful thing about working with a marketing partner here like Contractor Click is this is all we do. This is what we specialize in. This is all the data that we consume every single day. So we know at the highest level when what we're doing here in the marketplace is moving over $150 million a year of projects for our clients. We understand what it takes to navigate competitive markets. And for us, it's not scary to hear, hey, there's a new competition. That means we got to play at a bigger level. That means that if we're not willing to play at a bigger level, then you are at risk. So the fear factor of uncertainty has more to do with your inability to see, okay, maybe my mind is set to an old way of thinking.
Yes.
But you think about the skill set, maybe that's what needs to be realigned is, hey, as a leader, as an owner, I'm not confident in the marketing program I have in place right now. So maybe it's the perfect time to revisit the marketing program. And it's got to be tied into not a 50 leads or it's free or 100 leads or it's free. It's got to be tied into the growth that you're expecting to have. Now, let's go to skill set. Skill set has to do now with the sales process. It's something we've been talking about here at the Contractor Click podcast. If you're not tight in your sales process, when we're thinking about the big business, franchises, for example, that have a lot of money to put into work in place in any territory, or these bigger businesses, you look at their sales process. Let me tell you this. Some of these guys are literally mapping out 40 touch points in 2 weeks after a lead comes in. Imagine anything over 30 touch points. If you do the math on that, 40 touch points in 14 days, how many times on average you're touching that specific lead in order to convert that opportunity into a qualified prospect?
So you would have to be doing like 3 a day.
Almost 3 times a day. And that doesn't mean it's going to be just a phone call. It might be a text message, might be another touch point. I mean, this is how the bigger businesses think. And this is why they confidently go into any territory and they deploy their marketing, which is, by the way, it's no better than what you can accomplish. I think you could do a lot more when you're smaller, more agile. You can be way more creative.
You can move faster.
Move so much faster. Yeah. You don't have this bureaucracy of like, oh my gosh, no. We literally kick everyone's butt when it comes to that. When big money comes in and they have set frameworks, our number one job is to disrupt, is to be very different. And we take pride of that here at Contractor Click. So again, the skill set, if you're afraid, you have fear, there's uncertainty there for you, that means that you're lacking the skill set to deploy. We have our amazing podcast editor here, that Christian. He's a producer, editor, he's all of it. Imagine if he lacked the skill set to actually move the cameras, switches over, there you go, put us into different frames here. And I mean, he would probably be scared of sitting down on the chair and hitting that record button, right? If he lacked the skill set. And we told him, hey, look, we got an episode, can you help us out? Now he doesn't. He's just moving the buttons, and now you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a like. Let us know how it's going. Point I want to make is he's not afraid of making the moves. So the same thing. In business, there are 4 specific quadrants that you must be able to develop the skill sets. You're not born with the skill sets, but you can acquire the skill sets. You don't need to know every little thing about the skill set, but you do need to understand it as a leader and owner. So when we think about big business, franchises, private equity, what do they bring in place? Literally, why do they acquire businesses? Oftentimes, it's a specific skill set that they're acquiring to buy into their portfolio so that they can add value into their portfolio. Other times, they're merging specific companies so that they can build value there. Other times, it might be the skill set that is needed to add to the portfolio so that portfolio goes up in value. So many different reasons. Point I want to make for yourself, maybe you don't have that private equity. Maybe you didn't have that silver spoon, since the beginning. So you've got to grind it out and learn to develop yourself in your skill set ability. And 4 specific quadrants, you want to talk a little bit about what those are?
Okay, so the 4 quadrants are marketing, leadership, business, and sales.
Boom.
That's the quadrant. Yeah.
In that specific order.
Yeah, like
In that specific order.
what you were saying, exactly what you were saying. When you set yourself and when you start, instead of taking that energy of fear, oh my gosh, this person's coming into my territory and they're going to take over. Instead of taking that fear and like putting into like, what am I going to do? Oh my God. You put it into this quadrant. You put it into your marketing, into your leadership, into your business, into your sales. You're going to be fine. But if you take that fear and you start acting out of that fear and like
desperation.
doing this and desperation and what am I going to do? Like why are you using that energy towards that instead of like putting it into your current business and making it better so that you can now have this beacon to look, oh, these guys are coming.
Yes.
This area has opportunity. Let's look and let's get better.
Well, pressure exposes character. And that's what it is. Pressure exposes character, and the character exposes insecurities and the fears. And that's all it is. It's, and team, this is the whole thing. There's been seasons in my life where I've been so afraid of growth, of the investments I got to make, of the releases I got to make in the company, the pivots, etc. Everything we do. Here, this is Contractor Click. It's what I have the opportunity to lead in this season here, but I also get to mentor other marketing agencies, and it's no different. Right now, in the last 7 years, I've worked with well over a dozen agencies that have made it to multiple 7 figures, and a handful of those have landed in the Inc. 5000, which is awesome to hear. Now, the point is, like, there's different breaking points that happen in business, but it all starts out with marketing in business. Like, marketing is what brings you oxygen, which means the lead flow. So if you don't have a consistent lead flow that is scalable, that is an opportunity for you to look into. Maybe that's the biggest concern. Oh my gosh, these guys are going to take all the business. No, you can learn the skills and master the sales skills, which we'll talk about later. But before you even have the sales skills, you're going to need some at-bats. And that's where the marketing comes into play. The bigger companies that come into territories, they just come in with bigger pockets. That means $20,000, $30,000 to drop a month in advertising in a specific territory. They're ready to make it happen.
Right.
They're not like, oh my gosh, I'm a $2,000 a month
No.
ad spend, and they're coming. Of course, you're going to be scared. Like, so the thing is, understanding that marketing brings you oxygen to the business, the opportunities. Now the question is, you got to be willing to play at a bigger level.
Right. And I have something else that I want to bring up too. I want to talk about when you're these big companies, right? They have formulas that they scale to be able to like move and grow, right? So one of these things is like the social media factor, right? The social media presence, your brand presence online.
Yeah.
These bigger companies have like these like templates and these like things that they use over and over again, and all
Cookie
of the
cutter.
different
It's
cookie
literally
cutter
cookie
is the
cutter,
same
yeah.
thing. Whereas if you are on your own and you have
Yeah.
your own business, take that energy and really stand out on social media. Like, don't like sit there with, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid.
No.
How am I going to social media content beat them? Because you know what? That's inexpensive. And all it takes is a little bit of time to plan. Start YouTube channel.
Yes.
Start documenting things. Get on social media. Get on lives. Record what you're doing. We work with people. Like, let's talk about like this person that somebody that this company that we know that has a really big social media presence.
Oh yeah.
Big giant guy comes to his service area. Nothing's gonna happen.
Doesn't
to him.
even feel it. I mean, they've got
Nothing's
over
gonna happen to him.
50,000 followers on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok. They have way more. They're not even concerned about
They
who's
don't
in the
care.
territory. They're not even concerned about who's coming in, how much money they're put. Actually, their advertising works. Their social media works so much better because now someone else is advertising, putting money into the machine, and now the algorithm. If someone likes a picture or an ad of a competitor that is related to the specific service,
Correct.
the algorithm on social media will give them the impression
favor.
because they're constantly putting out great content. So we've been talking about this. That's a small example. Now, to bring it to grassroots marketing, like this is the hardcore. I personally love this because this is where you get to truly differentiate yourself. Think of yourself like the mayor, and you're running for mayor. You want to be out there getting involved in the community with everyone. Sports. Think about your main territories, sports teams. You know, shake hands with people, let them know who you are. Like you're the owner, the CEO. If you're quote unquote afraid, and if I was actually in one of those territories actively, dude, I would be at every major event, make sure that people are getting to know me, my brands, park the trucks outside the trailers.
course.
I mean, I'd be out there truly grinding that out and building the relationships because that's so much more powerful than just a TV ad
Sponsor
or,
schools.
or sponsor schools and all of that. Now, that helps you build the unfair advantage where the bigger businesses coming in, they probably will do that way later on, or you might start to see their boots coming out at the trade shows and so forth. But there's nothing more powerful than getting involved in the community, and that is how you can build that relationship with your community is by showing up, and that will pay back. Maybe it's not an immediate ROI, but you think about the relationships, the conversions that will happen as a byproduct when people see your involvement in the community. Your team members are out there helping people. Say there's a car broken on the highway. You train your team. They're wearing your shirts, and you literally train your team. Hey guys, if you ever see someone that is stuck, their car is on the side of the road or whatever, they're changing the tire, jump out of the car, let's go out there. That alone will give you the 1 or 2 pictures to help you go viral in your community. Now, the goal is to do it with the right intention, but the byproduct of that involvement goes way farther than just putting more advertising dollars on media. Now, that's an unfair advantage. The second thing is, hey, if you're a family-owned business, leverage that to your full extent. Like your entire family is part of your business. Your children, your spouse, your team members and their families also, and that becomes very powerful. And I only see a very small side of
Yes.
the contractor space leveraging that to the maximum extent. And the ones that are doing it successfully, you get to see generations literally, be empowered by utilizing their personal relationships and so forth. So that helps you out build a strong footprint inside of the community. And that is at the very organic grassroots level. Going out there, getting involved, being present in the most predominant communities. Maybe there's specific events that you need to be a part of that you haven't heard of. Well, make yourself known in those spaces. Like that's pretty much working yourself into that position. The second thing is marketing, the engine of advertising, is understanding your growth goals and growth budgets.
Yes.
Are they aligned with where you're looking to go? And what I will recommend, if you have more competitors, that means you've got to be willing to play at a higher level. Otherwise, smaller budget is going to be harder to compete. That's on top of whatever else you're doing. Now, this is where you get to be creative, agile, and so forth.
Right. That's good. That's very good. Let's talk a little bit about leadership and then on business, the leadership and business quadrants.
Yeah, it's interestingly enough. So one of our mentors gave us this specific map, and he's like, hey, you want to grow a business to $1 billion, $100 million, half $500 million. You're going to need to have these things in place. And the first thing is like marketing, then leadership, sales, business. Leadership came second. My question to him was, hey, why is leadership not first? And the reason being is that a business without lead flow, you probably have no business.
Yeah.
So you need to get leads coming in order to close. And in that process, now you have opportunities. That is where the leader must be awakened to learn and understand everything that needs to happen in business. You have systems, processes, numbers, and people. And the more time that you as a leader understand, hey, in order for this whole thing to work, I need the right people in the right seats. I need to be tracking the right optics and metrics in my business. Profitability, I need to be understanding my key performance indicators for every team member, for every team, the structures I have in my teams. I need to understand the processes that are currently functioning in my organization are actually working and they can work without me. And I need to know that I'm using the right systems in this season. And the thing about leadership is that is scaling the business in itself. But you look at leadership, you're taking care of leading other people in your organization, which ultimately are the ones doing the work. Hopefully, it's not you out there grinding the floors or doing the siding of the home or doing the flooring or whatever it is. It's your team doing it. So leadership is knowing how to be able to bring in your highest essence into the world to get people motivated and excited to show up every day. And not only that, but you do it for yourself. Like leading myself first is my number one goal. And I know if I could do that, like this morning, hey, I woke up 5 a.m. Hey, I'm going into the Bible. I'm pouring into myself. I know I'm going to have a great day today. Why? Because I'm filled up. The days that I don't do that, man, I show up so dry. I'm like, man, there's something missing there, right? And leadership is when you establish that foundation and base in yourself and then your leadership team that now helps you roll it downstream in your organization. And that is, as far as leadership, we can go on and on.
I wanted to speak a little bit about this. So I do see, and I'm going to talk like Danny, we see a wide range of people that are starting, people that have multi-million-dollar businesses. So we market for a wide range of people. And I'm going to tell you, there are some people who may not have that, like they're afraid to be in that leadership, or like they don't have a lot of these leadership. It's very raw, very green. Even if they have like medium to larger businesses, like it's green.
Yes.
So what happens in this department? You're not afraid to do it. Maybe you hire yourself a business coach that helps you create systems and processes in your business. Maybe instead of like fearing like, oh my gosh, I have to put more there, I have to put more there, these people, or oh my gosh, I'm gonna change this. Hire yourself a business coach that guides you through this process and helps you set in place things that will create this business structure that maybe you just can't see right now. And we work with someone who is in a territory of one of these bigger giants. And not once has this person ever said to me, I'm so scared that this big giant is in my territory. Quite contrary, he works with me, we talk together, we form marketing plans, and right now he's realized that he needs to work with someone that's going to help him in his systems and his processes in his business. So he hires someone to do that. Beautiful. We're setting up beautiful systems and processes in the CRM that are going to like increase his sales. That's the type of energy where you need to put it into.
Right. Yeah, leadership is the ability to be mature enough to say, I can't do it with my own capabilities. I'm not seeing something. I need assistance. I need help. And that's why we're here for, to empower the industry. So if you're finding these conversations helpful, make sure that you give us a subscribe. Give it a like and a comment. We'd love to hear if you're finding this information helpful. Let us know if we're doing a good job for you. To go back to your point, I do believe in mentorship and finding the right coach for your business in this season for yourself. At Contractor Click, we have the Codemaster Lab, which is an amazing coaching community. It's led by Pete Johnson, our lead coach and trainer. And his conversation is about scaling the team and leadership specifically for concrete coating businesses. And it's an incredible, every Friday, we meet for an hour and a half, and the conversations are surrounding, getting into commercial, empowering your team members, profitability, looking at the different products that can be installed, how to navigate this economy and so forth. Right. But it's very real and raw conversations amongst real business owners that are out there every single week and every single month. And what I've noticed is the individuals that are showing up to those calls, man, they're moving
They're
ahead.
crushing it.
They're just moving ahead, and they've taken the right steps, and they're not scared. They're not navigating this economy, afraid of what's going to happen next. Which is an interesting point to coaching. Now, outside of that realm, I completely recommend you look into EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system. They have coaches and integrators and mentors that can help you integrate technology and processes and functions of the system so that you can flow better. There's other mentor programs out there, and you can look into all of them. You got to find out, hey, where in my life right now, in my business, do I need the most help with right now?
Right. You got to treat your business like a business. You can't control somebody coming into your territory, but you can control treating your business like a business.
And you got to show up as a leader. And, the whole thing about being a leader is it's a never-ending game. You just learn new ways to navigate, and it's constant problem solving. And, in the trade specifically, I know my father, at times, he was very short. He was a concrete and construction contractor, and he would lead the teams, and sometimes he'd lose it on these guys, because they just couldn't get it done the right way. And I got to experience it as a young kid, and some of those behaviors showed up here as I was older, and now I started running my own business. So I've had to work very hard to untangle those wires in what I thought leadership was for myself and for my companies, and what's needed from me in every season of the business growth. And I think you could speak to that as well, right? You've seen the differences, and a lot of times that's leadership at the highest level is how do you lead yourself and then inspire those that are working for you to also optimize their livelihoods. And if you optimize your team members, you're optimizing your business. And a Contractor Click, an example, we run 3 specific conversations every single week. One of them is it's an actual training of improving skill sets. Another one is improving communication. Then we have another one of improving efficiency throughout the company. Those are 3 different things. But what I'm looking to do is to impact the lives of the individuals running the business. Because I know if I do that, if I just increase 1% and you multiply it times every individual, I'm improving significantly the bottom line in the business. And it takes time, it takes effort, it takes planning, it takes all of that team. And that's what leadership is at the core, in getting the right people in the right seats specifically. And then the last 2 steps here, we won't touch too much into it. After leadership is sales, which means your sales process, your sales ability. We've talked about offering different options for the consumer to say yes and removing the resistance, offering financing. I mean, you name it. We can take a deep dive into knowing how to overcome objections, quote unquote objections. But you see, what I've learned is the bigger businesses, they just have so much leadership embedded into their marketing that by the time that they get into the front door, the prospect is so warmed up to do business with that specific business that it's so much easier to close. And that's where the sales process comes in. Optimizing the sales processes, sales teams, and the people. And the last step here is the business itself. And the business is now the actual business that's operating without you. In each different function, you have the function of marketing, the function of sales, the function of administrative, and the function of the fulfillment, which is the installation or whatever it is that you do. Each one of those needs to have layers and a structure, and that's the business. That's the business. It requires grunt work. It requires the discipline to build it out. So when I see and hear guys or gals, oh my gosh, so-and-so is coming into town, I want to invite you and leave you with this quote here. Who was Mike Tyson's coach? Was it Amado? Yeah, Amado. Cus Amado. Man, I love this quote. and it was playing in one of the clips on Instagram by Mike Tyson on the background. And this is what it is. This is what I'm going to leave you with for you to think about. In life, you control almost anything if you anticipate it and prepare psychologically through suffering. Oof.
That's good.
Listen to that. In life, you control almost anything if you anticipate it and prepare psychologically through suffering. Now, suffering, I mean, that word right there, one of my mentors probably would say, don't use that word. But what it means is if you're truly training and getting better and putting in the work, quote unquote, suffering in today's lingo. You know, some people don't even want to show up to work these days.
That's good.
But if you're actually putting in the work and you anticipate, that means you're planning. That means that, hey, no problem. It's only an opportunity. And you're moving forward and you're preparing and you've got your plans in place. You're executing. You're getting better. You are in control, my friend. And God's given you control and dominion to take action. So hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment and we'll see you on the next one.